By the very nature of their interactivity, video games are designed to draw people into a different world and allow them to escape from reality for a few hours. When the games get it right, they have the power to either make you feel like a god among men or destroy you and leave you a blubbering wreck in the corner of the room. The very best games are the ones that have moments which will stick with you for years to come. Whether you sacrifice yourself to save the world or crash two celestial bodies together to save the universe, the following will leave you different from when you went in. I'm Ben from What Culture, and here are 10 video games that will leave you a changed person. Number 10, Gone Home. Oh god, it's gonna be one of those lists, is it? Stuffed with artsy-fartsy indie nonsense. You know what? If done well, and they frequently are given the lack of restraints due to not having a publisher, artsy-fartsy indie nonsense can be very powerful. So off. Case in point, Gone Home. Returning after traveling and finding your family home devoid of said family, you walk around the house uncovering notes and must piece together what's been going on while you've been away. It's a really lovely story of forbidden love, trying to fix a struggling marriage, and the difficulty of coming to terms with one's sexuality. Given the basic gameplay of walk around house, open door, read note, the narrative had to be strong here, and it really was. Number 9, Silent Hill. In the days of the original PlayStation, players looking for scares had a very limited selection of games to choose from, and it wasn't until 1999 that the first brain-bending, terror-inducing game of the 3D age came out in the form of Konami's seminal Silent Hill. Silent Hill was a survival horror with a paranormal twist. Whereas other horror games had you playing as a soldier or a law enforcement officer who knew how to use a gun, Silent Hill's Harry Mason is a regular chap stuck in a creepy town searching for his daughter. He's a terrible shot, isn't particularly strong or agile, and he is very, very vulnerable, like your dad. As such, you genuinely fear for his well-being, and the game constantly plays with your psyche, attempting to break your spirit wherever you go. From its devilish puzzles to its oppressive setting, you'll be hard-pressed to leave Silent Hill the same as you went in. Number 8, Shadow of the Colossus. Born of the minds of the well-revered Team Ico, Shadow of the Colossus is different to almost any other game you will have played. There are no towns to explore, dungeons to raid, and no characters to interact with. You play as a young boy named Wanda who travels to a forbidden land in order to save the life of a girl. In order to do so, he is told that he must slay the 16 colossi that roam the Forbidden Land, each of whom is a puzzle effectively. But as you kill more and more of the beasts, you sense something's wrong. These massive hulking monsters are only trying to defend themselves after all, and you're slaughtering these one-of-a-kind beings without a second thought. Then it turns out you were tricked. Try feeling good about yourself when you finish the game. Go on. Go on. Number 7, Metal Gear Solid. As the intrepid Solid Snake, you're tasked with infiltrating the Shadow Moses Island compound after a renegade special forces unit leads an uprising and takes control of the base. Cue one of the best stealth games ever made, as you work your way through the members of Foxhound one by one, dispatching them in ever more elaborate boss fights after sneaking your way past cameras and soldiers. What Hideo Kojima and his team managed to put together was nothing short of masterful, a mix of great gameplay, inspired design, and some of the best production values video games had ever seen. When the final credits run, you'll take a deep breath and you are guaranteed to feel like a total Bobby Big Boy Big Bald badass. Yeah. Number 6, The Last of Us. What's so important about The Last of Us is the sheer power of its narrative elements when paired with the wonderful performances of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson as Joel and Ellie respectively. Writing, direction, acting, and technology come together in the most perfect of harmonies, and you care about the characters in a significant way. Basically, if you didn't yelp in pain when Joel got injured or burst into tears when he saved Ellie from the cannibalistic David, you're dead inside. Check your inside. Go to the doctor. Get him to check your inside. It doesn't matter actually because you're dead. I'm telling you now. Science. Doctor, medical science. Aside from the insanely emotional intro, what's most powerful is the ending. It essentially suggests you're one of the bad guys, with Joel acting selfishly and then lying to the person he became a bad guy in order to protect. Leaves you speechless, to be honest. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. One of 2017's standout games and the driving force behind the Nintendo Switch launch, we gave Breath of the Wild a perfect 10 in our review because it's that damned good. It takes you back to why you love video games, acting as this massive blast of fresh air in today's development scene. Mystery, intrigue, childish innocence, a lovingly crafted world. You really have to go all in with Breath of the Wild, throwing yourself into it and just letting its magical, almost indescribable excellence wash all over you. Shh, that's it, all over your face. No, that's the excellence, that's not why'd you have to take it there? It also has that unique selling point of not giving you that tunic or those weapons, so there's a good chance that the biggest change you'll see in yourself, having finished working towards them, is when you emerge 5 years older having never left the house. Number 4. Persona 4 Golden. The Persona series is renowned for its excellent characters, strong gameplay, wonderful sense of style, and brilliant music. All of these were present in 2008's Persona 4, an entry inspired by murder mystery novels where people local to the sleepy Japanese town of Inaba are disappearing before reappearing dead a few days later. And you and your colourful collection of friends take it upon yourselves to get to the bottom of it using the power of friendship! Seriously though, everyone has a particular game that got them through a tough period in their lives, and for me, it was the re-release of Persona 4 on Vita, Persona 4 Golden. Your schoolmates are well written with such real, relatable problems that you become wholly invested in their well-being, and as the protagonist gets back on the train to leave town at the end of the year, a big part of you will be left behind in Inaba. Number 3. That Dragon, Cancer. This is a tough one. That Dragon, Cancer is an independently developed game from the minds of Amy and Ryan Green, based on their experiences and eventual loss of son Joel after a battle with cancer. Taking the form of a point-and-click adventure, it aims and succeeds pretty bloody well at documenting the highs and lows of living with someone so young, suffering with something so horrible. It doesn't pull any punches either. You know how it has to end, and the looming feelings of despair is only intensified as the game continues and you get to know the characters better. It's honestly both brilliantly joyful and desperately sad, and I'm sure, given the subject matter, you'll see why you won't finish it without coming away a changed person. Number 2. Final Fantasy VII. A little bit happier now, and while Final Fantasy VII is stuck in a perpetual battle of nerds over which is the better game in the series, one thing that sets the 7th entry apart in the long-running and impossibly titled series from its subsequent entries is the emotional weight of its story and setting. As with MGS, for many people, this was the first landmark video game to really provide a glimpse into what the future had to offer. And despite the fact that at no point in the game does any character have voice-acted speech, Final Fantasy VII features some of the most heartbreaking dialogue and emotionally overwrought sequences in history, and one that people are still talking about today. By the time you finally defeat Sephiroth at the end of the game, you'll feel like you've genuinely avenged the death of a friend. Such is the impact that Aerith/Aeris had on the player in the early stages of the game. It is one of the strongest motivations any game has given a player to see it through to its natural conclusion, and I suppose you could call Sephiroth a shit mass murderer for wankers. Hashtag shit mass murderer for wankers. Number 1. Journey. Journey is an almost transcendental video game experience. Released by the masters of unique ideas, That Game Company, it doesn't feature a word of spoken or written dialogue, but instead, not dissimilar to a Pixar short, relies on the context and expression of your flying blanket thing to explain what's going on. Perhaps most groundbreaking, however, is its use of multiplayer. At various points you'll hear frantic chirping noises, and turning around usually reveals a fellow flying blanket madly dashing towards you, but there's no username, no proof it's another person. The joy of suddenly being joined on your lonely journey by another being is overwhelming, and when the credits roll, the game reveals all the players who came along for the ride. It's beautiful, revelatory, deserving of the Game of the Year awards it earned, and will ensure that you leave it a changed person. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the What Culture Gaming YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from What Culture. You can follow me here on Twitter, and thanks for watching.